After Red Bull showed Christian Horner the door earlier this year, it was never a question of if he would return to Formula One, only when. The man who once took a failing Jaguar team that everyone laughed at and turned it into a powerhouse has a legacy that's hard to ignore. Under his leadership, that same team went on to conquer Formula One, collecting 6 Constructors titles and 8 Drivers' Championships over 2 decades. Horner transformed ridicule into respect, building one of the most successful dynasties the sport has ever seen. Given his record, it's no surprise that Christian Horner has attracted plenty of interest since leaving Red Bull, but his return isn't as simple as it sounds. Every team he's approached has hesitated to meet his conditions, and he's reportedly reached out to nearly all of them. Yet, if there's one team desperate enough to take the risk, it's Ferrari, a team starving for success, hungry to feel like champions again, and willing to do whatever it takes to get there. Rumours are now swirling about Horner's potential move to Maranello. Could Ferrari be his next great challenge? Or is this partnership destined to crumble before it even begins? And what's driving these rumours? Why the timing feels right? And why this could be one of Formula One's most dangerous alliances? Ferrari's season has gone from hopeful to heartbreaking. What began as a campaign full of promise is on track to be remembered as one of their darkest in recent history. No wins, a fading grip on third in the Constructors' standings, and growing frustration within the team as Red Bull, powered almost entirely by one driver, pulls further ahead. With 6 races still left, tensions in Maranello are already boiling. As Ferrari heads to Austin for the United States Grand Prix, expectations couldn't be lower. Last year, they dominated the circuit of the Americas with a 1-2 finish. This year, no one's even whispering about a repeat. The car that once showed flashes of brilliance has stumbled badly, starting weak and sinking further with every race. But the real concern isn't just how 2025 has gone, it's what it means for the future. While Red Bull and Mercedes continue to refine their cars under the fading 2025 regulations, Ferrari has fallen behind. The FIA's crackdown on flexi-wings earlier this year pushed most teams to innovate with new front-wing concepts, but Ferrari chose a different path. They bet on rear suspension changes and a mid-season upgrade introduced in Belgium, one that was supposed to fix braking and cornering issues. Unfortunately, the numbers told a cruel truth. It barely made a difference. Meanwhile, rivals have surged ahead. Red Bull and Mercedes have both introduced aerodynamic updates that immediately showed results. In just 4 races, Verstappen and Russell have been regulars on the podium. Ferrari, by contrast, is stuck chasing answers instead of victories. The mood inside Maranello is tense, the patience is thin, and the results are nowhere to be found, exactly the kind of chaos that might tempt someone like Christian Horner to step in and try to rebuild from the ashes. Ferrari's downfall this season can be traced back to one major decision. Chassis technical director Loic Serra and team principal Fred Vasseur agreed to abandon further aerodynamic work and instead pour all remaining resources into developing the rear suspension. It was a gamble, one that meant shelving an important new floor update originally planned for Baku. That choice, in hindsight, has been disastrous. Ferrari's car hasn't improved, and the team now risks losing not just second place in the Constructors' Championship, but possibly third as well. While Mercedes and Red Bull have continued to evolve, Ferrari's stagnation has been painful to watch. The gap between them has grown wider with every race, and it paints a worrying picture for the future. As the sport prepares for a major regulation shift, smart decisions about budget allocation and development priorities are more critical than ever. Yet Ferrari's leadership keeps getting them wrong again and again. Even within the team's upper ranks, cracks are beginning to show. Lewis Hamilton, who joined Ferrari with hopes of shaping their future, has already submitted 2 internal reports detailing where the team is going wrong. His insights should carry serious weight. After all, the man has 83 wins since 2014 compared to Ferrari's 27. But his advice seems to have fallen on deaf ears. The changes he proposed never came, and instead of being part of the team's strategic direction, Hamilton finds himself tangled in the same messy politics that frustrated Sebastian Vettel years ago. The unrest isn't limited to the garage. Behind the scenes, there's growing unease at the top. Despite Vasseur signing a contract extension in July, whispers from Italy hint at rising tensions and even a possible mutiny within the team. Ferrari's executive chairman, John Elkann, is said to be losing patience. He's a long-time admirer of Christian Horner, the very man who built Red Bull into a dynasty, and the person Elkann reportedly tried to lure to Maranello several times in the past. In fact, it was Elkann who played a key role in convincing Hamilton to sign with Ferrari. Watching his star driver's input ignored while the team's performance declines can't be easy. His admiration for Horner has never been a secret, and insiders suggest he still believes Horner could be the one to restore Ferrari's former glory. The timing might finally be right. Horner is out of a job, Ferrari is in crisis, and both need redemption. If Christian Horner does end up trading Milton Keynes for Maranello, it would be a massive leap. For Ferrari, replacing Fred Vasseur would be just as bold, but both sides might soon have no other choice. Rumours about Vasseur's future have been floating around for months. Around the Canadian Grand Prix, whispers grew louder that he might be replaced by Antonello Coletta, the mastermind behind Ferrari's championship-winning World Endurance programme. Ferrari tried to silence those rumours by extending Vasseur's contract just before the Hungarian Grand Prix, with CEO Benedetto Vigna calling it a vote of confidence in Fred's leadership. But in Formula One, results speak louder than words, and Ferrari's results have been dreadful. Poor strategy calls, setup confusion, and half-baked upgrades have all drained the team's spirit. The mood in Maranello is heavy. In Singapore, Ferrari even had to deny reports of a heated confrontation between Vasseur and Matteo Tognan, their head of trackside engineering. 3 years into his rebuild, Vasseur's vision hasn't delivered. Next year will be the ultimate test, when Ferrari unveils a completely new car, designed by the team he handpicked. Logic says it would be madness to replace him now, but this is Ferrari, and logic doesn't always win in Maranello. Meanwhile, Horner's situation could align perfectly. Reports suggest his gardening leave from Red Bull runs until mid-2026, keeping him out of action for a year after his exit. That means Ferrari can afford to wait. Removing Vasseur too soon would only disrupt preparations for the 2026 regulations, but keeping him in charge for the start of next season allows Ferrari to judge whether his project is finally paying off. If it's not, Horner could walk straight in once his restrictions lift. Insiders say Ferrari are already preparing for that scenario behind the scenes. Horner hasn't been idle either. According to the Daily Mail, he's been in discussions with several Formula One teams and is eager to return. But among all his options, Ferrari might be the most tempting, a team steeped in history, desperate for revival, and led by executives who have admired him for years. For both sides, it could be the beginning of something huge, or another chapter in Ferrari's long list of high-risk experiments. The biggest obstacle in a potential Ferrari-Horner partnership is Horner's own demand. According to Martin Brundle, he's only willing to return to Formula One if he becomes a part owner of whichever team he joins, much like Toto Wolff's arrangement at Mercedes. When I spoke to him, he was very clear, Brundle revealed. He wants skin in the game, a real stake in the team. At Red Bull, he never got that opportunity, but selling even a small piece of Ferrari to anyone, especially a foreigner, feels unthinkable. Ferrari isn't just a race team, it's Italy's national treasure. Handing part of it to an Englishman, no matter how successful, would be nearly impossible. Still, if owning a slice of a team is off the table, would Horner settle for running Ferrari instead? Let us know what you think in the comments. Until next time, bye for now.